Alright, did a little bit more with my energy deck tonight. It was kind of fun because I got to use my um, Bandalar or Bandar, the monkey cat creature. So here's my opening hand. I go ahead and keep this because it's actually a really nice hand. I got two Young Wolves and a Rancor, which is great. So can't really play the Thriving Turtle, which is too bad. Don't have any blue mana to play the Thrumming Bird, also too bad. But I've got some early plays, so I go ahead and keep. Let me go and make sure I go ahead and hit this down. I forget to do that every time. Alright, so play that Young Wolf. Fast forward through the opponent's turn. He plays a Dark Steel Citadel, so he's playing an affinity for Artifacts deck. So I draw a second Rancor, which gives me an interesting decision here. I go ahead and double down and play both Rancors on the single Young Wolf to do 5 damage this turn, hoping that he won't have mana to play anything next turn either. So I go ahead and get in 5 damage right now while I can, because this is an aggressive deck, and if he goes ahead and removes it, I can still replay Rancors anyway. So I figured get in where you fit in. So he plays a Frogmite. So now he'll have 3 artifacts. So at the beginning of next turn, he can probably start casting Frogmites for really cheap. So I draw my first Scrounging Bandar. So it enters the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may move any number of +1/+1 counters from the Scrounging Bandar onto another target creature, which is a great ability in this deck because I really thrive on those counters. So I was super excited to see this card come out in Kaladesh. So I go ahead and attack again here, knowing that if he kills me, I'll come back stronger and I can recast both Rancor again. And I'm doing 5 trample damage. So honestly, I don't know. I think he probably should have blocked there, but he doesn't, which tells me he's probably got some removal in his hand. That's my guess. So he plays another Frogmite and a third Frogmite. So now I'm like, well, maybe that's why he waited up, because he knows he's going to outnumber me soon. But I also see that red mana left open, and anytime you're playing against an affinity deck, now that he's got enough artifacts out there, Galvanic Blast has the potential to be blasting me. So he gives me an opportunity to block with my Young Wolf and make it better here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And I draw a Thriving Rhino, which doesn't really help me because I've only got 2 mana. And now I'm really wishing I could find a blue mana source at this point. I've got most of my deck is blue mana, which is interesting. Got a lot more blue mana than I do green, so it's a little odd that I've got no blue mana. Anyway, I go ahead and attack with Young Wolf again. Interested what he'll do here. He almost has to block at this point, I think. And instead of blocking, he fires that Galvanic Blast at me, which I should have known was coming. Anyways, so Rancor and Young Wolf all trigger. Rancors both come back to my hand. And there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and set up an attack for next turn. So I go ahead and cast both Rancors on my Young Wolves. And hope he attacks me this turn. He does not. But he does play Mere Enforcer, which makes me a little less good. Now he's got a little more creature action than I do. So I'm content to play Stalemate right now until I draw a Pump Spell. And I draw another Scrounging Bandar, which is not great. So I'll go ahead and play a Scrounging Bandar and skip my attack phase. But now I have the option of moving +1/+1 counters off at the beginning of next upkeep if my Bandar does not get killed. If I could find a blue source, my Thrumming Bird would really thrive right now because I got counters on all my creatures. It would be pumping all of them every turn. So he plays a Wellspring, whatever, gets to draw a card. No attack from him. Alright, so I didn't really know how this works, but I have to pick one of my own creatures, and then I press 0, because I don't really want to move anything off the Bandar quite yet, because if I moved both off of him, I would kill it, and if I only moved one off, it wouldn't really help my young wolf that much. But I drew Hunger of the Howl Pack, so my new plan is to attack with both. I could choose to attack with one. I'm going to go ahead and attack with both. And frankly hope he blocks with everything, because I'm going to be able to really whittle him down if he blocks. Knowing he's only at 10 life and he'll probably have to block. He doesn't have any untapped mana, no surprises coming. So he blocks with the Mirror Enforcer. He blocks with 2 Frogmites, which gets us down to 1 creature each, but I'm about to pump my one remaining creature way up. So I'm actually okay with this. So both die off, both Rancors return to my hand, but this deck is made for trading off, because his don't return, but my Rancors do return. So I play Hunger the Howl Pack to make my Scrounging Bandar a 5/5, and the best part about that Scrounging Bandar's 5/5 is I can transfer any of those 5 tokens if I ever get another creature on board. But for the moment, I'm going to go ahead and make him a 7/5 with Trample, which is very hard to remove. Getting him up to that 5 toughness makes him a very difficult creature to remove. If he had any sort of enchantments that pacified or anything like that, exiled, I'd be in trouble right now. But fortunately for me, he doesn't. He's looking for cards. He does manage to play a Carapace Forger, which comes in as a 4/4. But he's all tapped out on mana, so I don't have to worry about any combat tricks. So I have nothing to do with his ability. So I go ahead and target his creature and give it 0. Alright, so now with the 3rd forest, I've opened up an option, because I was going to just attack and then play a Scrounging Bandar the next turn. But instead I'll play a forest, play Rancor, take him up to a 9/5, which definitely means he's forced to block, takes him down to 5 health even after the block. And now I get to play my second Scrounging Bandar, and so if he did something this next turn, I would be able to scrap both deals off the Scrounging Bandar, add them both up onto this guy, and make sure he was ready to go in for lethal. Kind of also depends on what I draw. So he plays Prophetic Prism, draws a card, taps mana to play Atog. Now, so the Atog gets +2/+2 until the end of the turn. He doesn't have a way to jam it through. So he could sacrifice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he could give it +14/14. So it's still not enough to kill me, and he's got no way to get it through because he doesn't have any mana left to cast any evasion spells. So at this point he realizes he's done, and that's the end of the game. Or I guess he draws one more card looking for an invasion spell and doesn't find it, and that's the end of the game. Pretty fun game. I enjoyed it. I think the Thriving Bandars will work better once I get that Thrumming Bird up and going, because once I get that Thrumming Bird up and going, I probably would have moved a few, I could start moving counters around. I think the ability to move counters around that he gives you, coupled with my Proliferate and my Thrumming Bird, really adds another counter-based strategy to this deck. Hope you guys enjoyed the video.